Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are drinking Goats in the Machine. It's a collaboration beer from Parish Brewing Company out of Broussard, Louisiana, and Jester King Brewery out of Austin, Texas. Thank you for joining us.
Hey there, fine people of YouTube. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. Back to do that once again. There's Jay. There's Andy in the attic. I am Ben. We have those. We don't have those on the store, do we?
Nobody's asked for them, so didn't put them on the store. Once people start clamoring for them, we've talked about clamoring, like,
yeah,
I need that.
Like at least one request. Yeah. What are we drinking today?
We're gonna have Goats in the Machine, collaboration between Parish, known for their Ghost in the Machine, and Jester King, which is known for their farm and all of the fun IPAs they do out there.
All right.
And this was another one we had to do because of a bulbous can.
Yeah, mine was getting there.
Had to push it up.
How many Ghost in the Machine type beers are there? Yeah.
Oh, there's probably a ton.
I don't have any clue. I mean, we've had a bunch of them, right? So.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish we could have talked about that beforehand. I would have viewed.
Yeah, we've had a few. I mean, we talked about it the other day when we were actually having another one.
I would think a good research department would be able to think of that on their own, but
well, our budget is spread a little thin, Ben.
Yeah. Look at that.
The research
thing
department.
Of beauty in the Parish glass.
Why not a Parish Jester glass?
I need a Parish IPA glass.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Cheers, mates.
Manonic. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
I think it's worth a trip down to Broussard.
Agreed.
We need to talk to corporate about that.
They can't pay for research.
Okay.
Well, Andy has just learned some new tools for research, so I mean, he's come a long way. You got to give him credit.
Oh, give me a tool and I will use it properly. Here we go. The Goats in the Machine is a double IPA, 8%. It's made with the hops are Maui Nelson, Motueka Hop Keef, Nectaron, and Citra. I had to look up what is Motueka Hop Keef? What is that? So my fancy research tool that Jay helped me out with. It's specifically known that Motueka Hop Keef is specifically known as Motueka Sub-Zero Hop Keef, a highly concentrated, flowable liquid form of Motueka hops, which were developed by Freestyle Hops in New Zealand. So, knowing what we know about our few New Zealand hops that we have had, and you taste this, it's like a bouquet that just explodes on the palate.
Is that similar to what was that Barrel uses, that liquid lupine? You remember we talked about that in the past?
That's just a lupine is a derivative from the hop, but this one that was the like powder grainy form of it from the pellet. This is specifically liquid form. Whether it's that one's liquid, I don't know. I can't say, but I just know from that lupine that was not. It didn't specify that it was liquid. But I thought what I took from this that the more from New Zealand, and when you taste it, it's like, oh yeah, it's a little different. Excuse me.
Well, we'll learn more. We've got some burial and inventory that will come up in the future.
So Motueka has, gosh, I'm burpy. That's a lot of talking. Fresh lime zest, lemon, citrus zest to it. A little tropical uphill. So being in liquid form, it allows them to enhance the aroma and the flavor profile. So for a truer, cleaner sense of the hops. This is being a collaboration. The Goats in the Machine, of course, Ghost in the Machine from Parish. But the Goats is inspired by the dozens of goats at Jester King Brewery, which we learned about recently doing Jester King's a Jester King beer. Parish Brewing Company, Broussard, Louisiana, as you mentioned, 2008 regional brewery, our most highly, by far, reviewed brewery. Jester King Brewery, new to us, out of Austin, Texas, is a microbrewery founded in 2010. They like to use wild yeast fermentation. They open up these barn doors. They have these big rectangular tanks where they allow the wild yeast from the outdoors to come in from their 40-acre ranch and a goat farm. So there may be a little goat yeast getting into some of the beer that we drink. And they do have, like I said, goats on this farm. The name Jester King is after the fool in the King Lear play from Shakespeare. What was the Jester King that we had?
Noble King.
Noble King
Recently.
Yep.
And I really think you really donned the correct wig for that thumbnail there. I think you did a good job with that.
Oh, yes, with my crown and my flowing locks.
Yes, I thought that was quite nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good job by you and the photographer working on that.
Yes, I sat for that. It was magic. I mean, we were just like, me and the camera were one.
I know.
Locked in.
I thought Jay's and my photo turned out well, but it nowhere near yours. So
I don't even remember seeing y'all in the picture.
Yeah, we're completely overshadowed.
Exactly.
All right, who's had this one before? Hopped Up Beer Review tradition says if you've had it, you go last. So, who? All right, Jay, you've had it? No.
Yes, I've had this one several times.
Did we? Yeah, I was about to say, was there a lag? That's why he was so late to.
Yeah. All right, Andy. What do you think?
I am, with each beer, let me say that we have New Zealand hops, I am becoming favorable. I don't know, that they're becoming my favorite style of hops. I don't know what it is. It just really enhances the beer. And you get the haze. It's a little creaminess to it too, but it is bright. I don't know how it can be bright and a little heavy mouthfeel at the same time, but it's, I guess, that floral hoppiness. You get the hop aroma and floral feel, but not the bitter. It's really good. This is an 8.5 beer. This is really good. I like it when they start tweaking the Ghost in the Machine. It just makes it even better. Not to say Ghost in the Machine is just like sub. It's a great beer, but once you start playing with other breweries and you bring in hops and say, hey, how can we mad scientist this thing?
Because we had one with the other half the other day that they did a variation. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I definitely think that's fun. It keeps it interesting. we may have to actually do Ghost in the Machine at some point.
I don't know. We're running such a good run. That should be when we come to an end, if we ever
That's
end. That should be the last beer. It's like we finally got to Ghost in the Machine.
So what you're saying is, if we do a Ghost in the Machine review, people should not expect another show after that.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is the end.
It's the walk off.
And you know, for that matter, we just need to do it live at the brewery.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can't
Like
leave it there.
when a
You heard it here
meteor is
first.
about to hit Earth and just like annihilate.
Well, maybe when Andy turns 80, because Jay and I still won't be 80 at that point. So,
Aw.
you know,
Wait, I'm going to turn 80 before y'all.
yeah,
It just barely.
that's the point.
That was kind of sad, Ben.
Yeah.
What, you
You've
got like
already-
1 month on me?
You've already turned another year older than us right now, so I mean, it
But
happens
still,
every
that's
year.
sad. Why are you so morbid? This is a fun beer show.
Wow. All right. Guess we'll try to get back on track here. I think I do like this beer. I think it's a very floral. I mean, it's floral for me. It's definitely hazy, no bitter. So that's already one that I'm going to like when we get an IPA. Again, I think it is really interesting, the collab stuff that they're doing with Ghost of the Machine, because I've had Ghost of the Machine a lot, like we all have. I just finished a keg of it, so I've had it here at the house, and for an IPA, that's one of the few that I'm going to probably get on a keg of, right? It's a really good beer. So having these collaborations with Parish, of course, anything that they've made has been great. I think there's probably only one or two that I've had of theirs that I was just like, not my thing, but that's okay. But this one's a good one too, and I think it's cool that we just recently did a Jester King. Now, the thing about the Noble King that I was a little meh on was probably some of that wild, yeast, because it tasted a little more earthy or grassy than I particularly like. I don't taste that in this one, and I think you're right, Andy. More of that New Zealand hop is kind of the new flavor that kind of comes through, or the flavor that's a little different than what we're kind of used to. So I definitely enjoyed that too. So overall, I think this one's a fun beer. I the thing I hesitate on these is, are we ever going to see this again? Is this kind of like a one and done, or are they going to do this every few years? And I hope they do, because I think it's a fun beer. I'm not going to give it quite as high a score as Andy, but I think it's an 8. I think it's a great beer. So I don't think it's an 8.5 for me, but I think it's an 8. I think it's tasty, and I like it.
I will say this: when the can got delivered, I was expecting like a Bach, Doppelbock, IPA fusion, just because of the goat. And I was like, oh wait, oh yeah, that was.
And that's exactly why I knocked it back half a point.
Of course, yes.
Exact thing I was thinking too. So what do you think, Jay?
Oh, Ben. This is just an excellent beer. I mean, 2 great breweries, great flavor. You're right. There's no bitter. It's creamy. It's got a little bit of hop. The tropical. It's that true hazy. I mean, just look at that thing. It's beautiful. All the way down to the can art. I mean, that is just a thing of beauty right there. The way that they thought through that. I'm always curious with collaborations, though. How much of what does one do for the other? In this case, this was a Parish brewery, and Jester King contributed. So obviously it wasn't brewed out of Jester King in their open fermented vats, thus you're not going to get that earthy taste. But Jester King probably weighed in on some of the formula of it, I guess, and that's how they do their collaborations. And they can slap their names on it. And, the funny thing is that my buddy's been on this, Ed out in Albuquerque. he could find this beer out there because it was Jester King as well. So they had some distribution on it. Now, I agree with you. I'd love to see if they could make this annual or biannual, something like that every couple of years, like you said, where, and even if they don't do this exact recipe, but do something together that's cool. But when this came out, yeah, I bought, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 packs of it just because it was really good. And I've shared it and really enjoyed it. And same with some of the others that they have. I mean, we talked about their collaboration with Other Half. They had Ghost in the Daydream. So, they do a really good job of what I found. Parish is collaborating with other great breweries, and I love to see that, and hope that they continue doing that. But for me, this is an 8.5 all day long. I love it. It's creamy and good.
I think that you make an interesting point because on these collabs, it's always like, there's obviously one brewery that is distributing it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what is that kind of ratio? Is it, 60-40? Is it 80-20? I wish they would note that
I would
somewhere.
think whoever has the better distribution region, because Broussard or Parish is a regional, whereas Jester is a micro. And so Parish has the bigger distribution.
But there again, like I said, my buddy's got it in Albuquerque from Jester King up that way.
Jester King may go a little more west and not so far east, because, I mean, Austin and Broussard are not that far apart, but what is it? Parish has been in the game 2 more years, but they are more of a broader distribution, and they get up some parts. They get into the Northeast. I mean, so they're Other Half, like you said, they are.
I was a little disappointed because, like, the Other Half, the Ghost in the Daydream we had here, and that was put on. That was Parish was the leading brewery. Other Half was the part behind it, and basically they took, and just so that we talk about it, I mean, they took the Ghost in the Machine, they took their most popular, and then they took the double Daydream, and they mixed those together. Last year, when I was up at Other Half, they had a triple dry hopped Space Ghost, and it was a collaboration with Parish, but we never saw that down here. It was just up at Other Half. So,
yeah, I think
interesting to see.
Yeah, I think with Other Half and Parish, I mean, I obviously have no clue kind of what the market is for both of those, but to me, those are two kind of same level breweries, right? I think, Andy, to your point, Parish probably has the bigger distribution between them and Jester King, so it makes sense maybe that Parish would be the lead here. But when you're talking about Another Half, it's just that they make a deal to swap something every year or two, and
they're Brooklyn, Philly,
they're
DC,
huge. They're big.
Finger Lakes,
yeah. So I think that overall it's interesting. It'd be great to know what the contribution of each party is.
It's like more work.
I digress.
Yeah. Use that research
the research department.
Get that research tool going.
Got to work on that budget now.
You may have to do some interviews. Okay, you have to reach out.
I got to talk to people. I'm better at just talking to a computer here.
Jay and I are not a computer.
Nope.
I mean, you are one dimensional on my screen here.
That will be an 8.3 for the Goats in the Machine from Parish Brewing Company, along with Jester King. Definitely a beer that if you see, you have got to try and give us your thoughts on it. We'd love to see that down in the description, but we'd love it even more if you would jump into our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server. If you're on Discord and you are not in our Discord server, just stop the video here and we don't want you anymore. I'm just kidding. We want all of you.
No.
Yeah. No. Come join our Hopped Up Beer Discord server. We'd love to see you there. We got other links down below for some Hopped Up Beer Review merch. and Hopped Up Beer Review Patreon, and lots of other stuff. If you've made it this far in the video and you didn't leave when I told you to a minute ago, then we'd love for you to subscribe and to cheers that notification bell, and also give us a thumbs up. With that, for Andy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Ooh, somebody was digesting right there.
Ben had a little burp.
That's a good microphone.
You should probably get one.
Yeah.
So I get the camera that goes.